Aliens. You know them, you love them, and quite frankly, you're probably scared of them. If you're anything like me, you're fascinated by any horror movie that's about aliens. That's why in this video, I'm gonna be talking about 10 awesome horror movies about aliens so that you can go and watch them and get that fix. Hey horror friends, welcome into the Nonstop Horror YouTube channel. My name is Cameron, and like I said in the intro, we are talking alien horror today. Now right up front, I'm gonna get this out of the way. I'm not including the Alien franchise or The Thing. Obviously that covers at least 3 of the top 10 alien horror movies. They're very obvious choices and most people have seen them by now. If you haven't seen at least Alien, Aliens, and The Thing, and you call yourself a fan of alien horror, you're lying out of your ass. If any of these pique your interest, I've gone ahead and done you a favor, included links to stream them down in the description. If they're not available streaming, you can rent them or buy them. Quite honestly, I think it's money well spent if you need to rent them. If I missed your faves, make sure to let me know in the comments and maybe I'll do a part 2 and include some of them. And if you're new here and you want more horror content, make sure you slash the subscribe button as well. Again, here are 10 great horror movies about aliens. Number 10 has a particular scene that has been haunting moviegoers for over 30 years and it's a must watch, so make sure to stick around. The Faculty is a cult classic with an unbelievable cast. Let me read some of these for you. We got Josh Hartnett, Elijah Wood, Jordana Brewster, Clea Duvall, Selma Hayek, Famke Janssen, Piper Laurie, Twin Peaks anyone, Christopher McDonald, Jon Stewart, Usher, and the list just goes on and on. The screenplay was written by none other than Kevin Williamson, who wrote Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and brought us shows like Dawson's Creek and Vampire Diaries, so it's pretty interesting to see more of the early work from a big screen juggernaut. Also, Josh Hartnett filmed this back-to-back with Halloween H2O, which is why he has this stupid haircut in both films. The Faculty is set at Harrington High, where Elijah Wood, Josh Hartnett, and friends are students. And this line from the trailer sums up the plot pretty nicely. The students at Harrington High have always suspected that their teachers were from another planet. And this time, they're right. Essentially, the teachers start acting a little bit more wacky than usual and the students start to notice. And then it essentially becomes a student versus teacher showdown where the students are trying to figure out who is infected and how they defeat them. The creature design is insane and you get a good old dose of that campy, stereotypical high school horror. If you like horror movies like Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Cherry Falls, this is gonna be right up your alley. The Faculty didn't have the commercial success that they had hoped for, and that's probably due a lot to the fact that they released it on Christmas Day. Nevertheless, give this a go if you want some comedic sci-fi horror, and expect this to be to Invasion of the Body Snatchers what Scream is to Halloween. Lots of satire in this one. Next up we have The Fourth Kind. This 2009 flick takes place in Nome, Alaska, where the aliens are cold, creepy, and really into owls for some reason. Mia Jovovich stars as Dr. Abigail Tyler, who is a psychologist who starts noticing that all of her patients are having these same bizarre dreams about these owls. So this movie claims to be based on real events, tricking young, naive moviegoers like myself. Yes, admittedly, Mia Jovovich, you got me. But yeah, apparently just regular alien abduction stories weren't scary enough, so they had to go at it from a real story angle. Before you know it, Dr. Tyler is knee-deep in an alien conspiracy, and things get pretty weird and terrifying. The movie tries to convince you that it's a documentary by mixing real footage with dramatic reenactments of the footage. The result? Horror fans shitting themselves because they think that it's real. Okay, maybe that was just me, but on a serious note, you do spend the whole movie kind of wondering if you're watching a horror flick or a weird, creepy episode of Unsolved Mysteries. A lot of twists and turns in this one with a lot of the scarier scenes and sequences in alien horror history, if you ask me. The director really leans into the whole this might be real vibe, which is pretty bold considering the later debunking of the film. But hey, it's horror. Who cares about facts when you're scaring the pants off of horror fans? The Fourth Kind is a roller coaster of emotions and will have you second guessing reality. Technically, it's kind of a movie within a movie, so you might get a little bit confused. So if you love horror that messes with your mind and makes you kind of question your reality, this is for you. Just maybe don't watch it alone at night with the lights off. I'm talking to you, younger Cameron. Under the Skin proves to us that Scarlett Johansson can be terrifying even without a superhero costume. This is the weird one on the list, so fair warning, it's not really like any of the others. It's kind of in its own little pocket of film style. It's not your typical alien flick, it's like an artsy, creepy exploration of what it means to be human or not be human. So Scarlett Johansson plays an alien in human skin, and she drives around Scotland pretty much looking for unsuspecting men, looking for a good time, and she kind of just snatches them up. And trust me, you don't want to know what happens to them when they get inside. But also you do want to know, so you should go watch it and find out. Now I know what you're thinking, and the answer is yes. The movie is as unsettling as it sounds. I'm sure you'll blurt out at least a couple of WTFs while you're watching it. The minimalist visuals and haunting score by Michael Levy create a mood that is both hypnotic and deeply unsettling. It's like getting lost in a dream where nothing makes sense and you can't wake up. Oh yeah, and fun fact, a lot of the men that Johansson lures into her van were not actors. The director had hidden cameras installed in the van and didn't tell the men until afterwards that they were in a movie. What the fuck? Under the Skin is a film that sticks with you. It's weird, it's unsettling, and it's unlike most movies that you've seen. If you're looking for a movie that's more about the experience than the story, go watch Under the Skin. Just don't expect to feel comfortable while watching it. Nope breathed some fresh air into the alien horror genre a couple of years ago, and it's directed by everybody's favorite Jordan Peele, and it stars Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer, and Steven Yeun. Kaluuya and Palmer play siblings who are trying to keep their family farm afloat, but then weird things start happening nearby, like UFO in the sky type of weird. Instead of running for the hills like sane people, they decide to stick around and find out what's really going on. Great idea, right? Any Peele fan knows that his movies are oozing with social commentary, and Nope is no different. There's everything from the UFO conspiracy aspect to the Hollywood satire and the obsession with big spectacles. And let's not forget about the amazing cinematography. The whole thing looks like it was made in a dream or a nightmare. If you're not sold yet, Peele cited King Kong, Jurassic Park, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Signs, and The Wizard of Oz as inspiration for the film. Sign me the fuck up. If you're into slow burn, suspenseful, beautiful movies about aliens, then Nope is a must-see. It's weird, it's wild, and it's got some of the best moments in modern horror memory. You ever wonder what would happen if Bear Grylls went against something that's not really from this planet? Enter Man vs., a true hidden gem. I feel like no one has heard of this movie. It stars Chris Diamantopoulos, who plays one of my favorite characters in Silicon Valley, Russ Hanneman, shout out to members of the Tres Comas Club.
I'm just gonna say it. This guy fucks, am I right?
Diamantopoulos plays Doug Woods, a survival expert and TV show host who is going into the Canadian wilderness to film the next episode in his TV show. Soon after beginning filming, Doug realizes that he's not alone and he has to figure out what's stalking him and how he can survive. The movie plays out like a found footage thriller, but with better production and less shaky cam induced nausea. It's straight up man versus creature for fans of Survivor, Alone, those types of reality TV shows. Full disclosure, you're gonna have to forgive the CGI in this film. It is not great. Brings down the film a little bit, but I think that the rest of the movie more than makes up for it. So again, if survival show meets extraterrestrial horror sounds like your jam, go watch this alien horror flick. Next up is Altered, another hidden gem from 2006 that I think is going to surprise a lot of you who haven't seen or heard of this one before. It answers the age-old question, what would you do if you caught an alien? If your answer is anything other than locked in your basement and hope for the best, then you might want to skip this one. But if you're in for a wild, low-budget ride, stick around. The plot of Altered follows a group of friends who were abducted by aliens 15 years ago, and now they're out for revenge. Lo and behold, they end up capturing one of the little buggers, but they soon find out that it's not the ET phone home friendly kind of alien. It's more of an I'm not going to take any of your shit type of alien. As you can imagine, things go south pretty quickly. The alien obviously isn't thrilled about being captured, and it's not going to go down without a fight. This movie has a lot of suspense and tension in it, but also a good amount of gore, and it's ultimately about this group of friends trying to survive the night without becoming alien sushi. Altered was directed by Eduardo Sanchez, who is no stranger to horror. He directed a segment on VHS2, he directed Satanic Hispanics, and directed a little film called The Blair Witch Project. Ever heard of it? With that track record, you know we're in the hands of someone who knows how to do a lot with a small-ish budget. The alien effects in this movie are all practical, so if you're into DIY horror mixed with a sci-fi twist, then Altered is a blast. It's gritty, intense, and it's got a vicious imagining of an alien. Dark Skies is the movie that will have you question every single sound in your house at 3 a.m., as if most of us don't do that already. As the Barrett family's peaceful suburban life is rocked by an escalating series of disturbing events, they come to learn that a terrifying and deadly force is after them, one which may have arrived from beyond the stars. Kerry Russell plays Lacey Barrett, the mom of the family, and she is a highlight for me. You see her character slowly start to lose her shit as more weird stuff starts happening around the house, and she plays it perfectly. This movie is directed by Scott Stewart, who brought us movies like Legion and Priest. Stewart's got a knack for building suspense, and here he trades holy warriors and vampires for something much more scarier: aliens who will mess with your life just because they can. And with Dark Skies, he did it with a small budget of just $3.5 million. The movie went on to gross $27 million worldwide. Dark Skies is less about jump scares and more about making you feel like you're never truly alone. The special effects in Dark Skies are great. They use just enough practical effects to make the aliens look real without going overboard on the CGI. Paranoia is a huge proponent in the plot of Dark Skies, and that paranoia just slowly builds and builds and builds all throughout the film. It's got all the hallmarks of a good alien horror movie without any sort of like cheesy green guys in suits. Dark Skies will definitely make you rethink those late night runs to the fridge and maybe have you keeping a closer eye on your family members. If that sounds fun to you, go watch Dark Skies. Invasion of the Body Snatchers 1978. This is actually a remake of the 1956 classic, and it takes the fear of an alien invasion and cranks it up to 11. There aren't many things scarier than your friends and family being replaced by these emotionless aliens, and this film explores that. The late great Donald Sutherland stars as Matthew, the guy who starts noticing that his fellow San Franciscans are starting to act a little bit weird. Kind of like they've been replaced by weird aliens, and surprise, they have. Before you can say paranoia, Matthew is in the middle of an alien conspiracy. This movie's got it all: creepy pods, silent invasion, and the iconic pointing and screeching scene that will haunt your dreams. The cinematography is top-notch in my opinion, and it really aids in creating that sense of paranoia and not being able to trust those around you. Also, for any Trekkies out there, you should know that Spock himself, Leonard Nimoy, is in this movie. He steps away from the Vulcan ears to play a psychiatrist who is trying to rationalize everything that is happening in San Francisco. Classic Nimoy, calm, cool, and completely missing the point until it's too late. Invasion of the Body Snatchers is the ultimate trust no one horror film. If you love your alien invasions with a side of psychological terror, you're gonna love Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It just might have you looking at your neighbors with a touch of suspicion from now on. Although it's not my favorite, I had to include No One Will Save You. This is a PG-13 rated alien horror film from 2023 that is highly panned by critics and fans alike. Because it's PG-13, I personally feel like it's geared towards a younger audience, and as I was watching the film, that just played out to be true. This one is about a young woman played by Caitlin Dever, who I mostly know her from her role in Justified. She lives alone in her childhood home, and she's kind of been shunned by the local townspeople, and we just don't really know why. One day she wakes up and realizes that a humanoid alien has broken into her house, so we're getting the home invasion and the alien itch all in one go. I liked the creature design in this one, and it's a great popcorn horror flick with some good jump scares. No One Will Save You was written and directed by Brian Duffield. He also wrote The Babysitter and Underwater. Underwater is an absolutely underrated horror movie starring Kristen Stewart, but that's a conversation for another day. While there are some great visuals and storytelling elements in No One Will Save You, I just personally didn't feel that scared with how the movie was made. But there are a few specifically creepy parts. Amazingly, the movie only has like 5 words of dialogue spoken throughout the whole thing. It's a pretty neat feat. This is a Hulu original, so you can go stream it over there right now. This is number 10. Let's talk about Fire in the Sky. It feels like Fire in the Sky is another cult classic because I don't hear very many people talking about it, but the people who do talk about it loud and proud. People really appreciate this film and a specific scene in particular. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. The story is about Travis Walton, who allegedly was abducted by aliens. He and his buddies were out in the Arizona wilderness logging one day, and they see a UFO in the sky, and Travis, being the curious cat that he is, goes to investigate it and he vanishes. And his buddies are left to try and kind of explain to the cops what happened to Travis. So while this film claims to be based on real events, we should take that statement with a grain of salt. The real Travis Walton says that he actually resents this film. He says that it's a misrepresentation of his experience, especially the abduction scenes, which bear no real resemblance to his actual account. And the screenwriter has even admitted to embellishing the story to make it more flashy and more provocative. Walton has tried having his story retold on film, this time where he retains a little bit more of the creative control, but unfortunately it seems like that really hasn't gained any traction and it's not getting off the ground anytime soon. I don't want to say too much more about this film for fear of spoiling it, so just get on out of here and go watch the dang thing. Fire in the Sky is like an amped up X-Files, minus Mulder and Scully, of course. If you're into UFOs, conspiracy theories, or just watching people freak out at glowing lights, then go give Fire in the Sky a watch and witness alien horror history. Well, there you have it, 10 terrifying alien encounters to satisfy that extraterrestrial itch you've got going. I tried to include a good mix of well-known horror movies along with some not so popular gems that I personally find high quality. There are so many other alien horror movies that I wanted to talk about that I just couldn't squeeze into this video. So if you want a part 2, make sure to let me know down in the comments and I'll put together another video with even more alien horror for you. Believe me, there are plenty to go around. So whether you believe in aliens or not, I mean, there's gotta be aliens out there, right? There's gotta be something out there. These films will make for a great movie-going experience and they're a fun exploration into the mystery of the unknown. Let me know if you check any of them out and what your favorite alien horror movies are down below. Thanks for stopping by the Nonstop Horror YouTube channel. My name is Cameron. I'll see you in the next one, and remember to embrace the fear all year long.